a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
The bits.
I also need to edit
real quick,
the
so
episode
my
that comes
computer
out
is not.
this week.
My computer is hyperventilating at the moment.
Why is your computer dying?
Because I turned on Baldur's Gate to update some mods, so it's mad at me.
Baldur's Gate, more like Baldur's Gay Lamau.
Wow, an original joke. Can't believe. No way.
This is how you become the most successful Percy Jackson podcast meme page on the internet, by having original jokes and not just using the same 6 memes over and over again.
Yep, that's how that works.
That just be how it do be do. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to The Bits, hosted by your favorite jam buds, Robert
and Charlie.
Hey Charlie.
Hey Robert.
Hey, so we gotta check into a motel together, platonically, of course.
Yeah, 2 beds. It's fine.
What would happen if we got a room and we were told it was 2 beds and then it actually was 1 bed?
Well, then it would be a trope.
You'd go to the front counter and demand a fucking refund or some goddamn perks is what you do.
Gasp! Someone is already in the motel room. Who could that be?
Listen, I respect the podcast etiquette of waiting until you're introduced. Until someone says something ridiculous like, what would we do if the thing we paid for wasn't given to us? You go tell someone and you have them correct it. That's basic customer service. You don't have to share 1 bed if you paid for a suite with 2 queens.
But then how would the tropes happen, Darien?
The tropes happen because people are too socially anxious to say, excuse me, ma'am, I actually ordered a Diet Coke.
That's me. I'm the socially anxious one.
Hi, I'm Darien. I'm from Muses of Mythology, Aragon and back again, and the Bad Moon's Orbit. I'm sober this time.
Woo! But will that mean you will overtake your own record for longest episode? Please don't. I want to go to sleep at a decent time.
No. I was already at work an hour later than I should have been to try to get to this recording, so no. Also, Keystone Motel is an excellent episode. It's not Jailbreak, okay?
No.
But
it's so fun.
Okay.
I just don't have as much to say as I did then. So, we're going to have a good conversation, but I'm not trying to break any goals here.
Hell yeah. All right. That also covers the usual shtick, who you are, what you do. Throw your pronouns there if you want to be a cool cat.
Oh, I've been experimenting with she, they recently. Fitting, I think.
It was really funny when you sent a message into the group chat being like, hey, so I ordered new pronoun pins from the pronoun pin lady, and the pronoun pin lady noticed and was like, good for you.
Yeah. It's like, well, yep, pipeline happens.
It just be like that sometimes. All right. So before we continue on with this episode, Charlie, did the postman bring us any post?
Hey, Mr. Postman, bring me a post. Bring me the post I love the most.
There's an alternate universe where you and I are doing a Blues Clues podcast, and you're doing every time we get mail, you have to do the fucking mail song. That should, now that I put that in the air, that should be an April Fool's Day episode. We do an episode of Blues Clues.
Cute.
Just cause. No other reason.
Only to do that mail bit. All right, so read us the mail, Charlie Banger.
Well, fittingly enough, it is about Keystone. Former guest on the pod, Kyla, was hit by another inspiration and felt the need to write us another commercial.
Hey, nice. I liked theirs. Those were fun.
So this one's titled "Come to Keystone, the Great State." And it's got like a whole. It's Robert, you need to like look at the email because like it's also like got the vibes. We have plan your next trip. Keystone Caverns, a beautiful, natural, geological wonder of the world. This place rocks.
Ah, nice.
Eat your feelings. Keystone Pizza. Eat there and be square. Disclaimer, no refunds will be awarded for not liking the shape of the pizza. The best diner in the world. We don't need a tagline. Just remember to submit it by Tuesday and make sure not to put everything I'm saying in this time. We got tons of complaints from the board. Sorry, not sorry for the BoJack Horseman joke. Stay the night at the Keystone Motel. In-ground pool, free ice, other stuff probably. The key to a better stay is in your hands. Book online now. Advertisements in this brochure approved and paid for by the Keystone State Board of Tourism.
We love a running bit. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so there's like a visual part of it, and then she like wrote it all down like as if it was an email as well. So thank you so much, Kyla.
I'm going to throw out my bold claim of the episode, and that is that the best diner in the world is the diner you regularly go to.
Yeah.
And then because, hey, we're a French fry joke named podcast, I will argue the best French fries in the world are the French fries from your local American Chinese restaurant.
Oh, should go down. I've got a buffet. I could go have some French fries.
And I only say that, okay, buffet Asian, buffet Chinese American fries are a little different than like take home.
For sure.
This is a study I've done with a sample size of 1, and also very infrequently because I do not eat Chinese food super often, and I also don't get French fries when I go to get Chinese food. But yeah. I still stand by that. But hey, we had that lovely reference for the state of Keystone, which also has the Keystone Motel, which is the episode we're looking at today, season 2, episode 12, which premiered on July 14th, 2015.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's almost like this is a 10th anniversary podcast.
Oh my gosh.
It's just weird that it was 10 years ago. And I watched this when it aired 10 years ago. I was an adult 10 years ago. I'm still an adult. 10 years ago, I wasn't in high school.
Let's see, where was I 10 years ago? I was
to leave high school. Junior year, I believe, right?
17,
Oh, no, 17 going on to 18. This would be senior year.
Yeah, I was going to say, July of, I would be going into college.
Oh, God.
Soon.
As the hit lyrics from the Smash Mouth song All-Star goes, the years start coming, and they don't stop coming.
They don't stop and coming. Hey, fuck HBO Max.
What did Max do?
What this time?
Respectfully, I apologize if this has been discussed at length. So I went to watch the episode today during my lunch break, and I pulled up HBO Max, and I looked up Steven Universe, and they brought me to Adventure Time, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, so they took that shit off October 1st. The last episode I was on with DJ came out October 3rd. So I'm like, no, I did watch fucking Jailbreak on Max the day we recorded that. So fuck HBO Max for just taking off Steven Universe unceremoniously because they are selfish, greedy bastards that don't want to have to pay into the residuals to pay for animators' fucking healthcare. But shout out to me and my brother DJ, who many years ago did just go ahead and buy the complete collection of Steven Universe on DVD.
Same.
Yeah, I love owning like literally the first time I've ever busted this out because, again, it's more convenient to watch it on streaming. But I do love owning physical media for this exact reason. So I did just bust out season 2, disc 1. It's the last episode on there. So yeah.
Yeah, I also love that box set. It's so pretty to look at.
Beautiful. Like it really is.
Damn, I'm not a part of the club with the fancy, cool Steven Universe box set.
Like slides out and it flips through. It's kind of like, it feels like it's a pop-up. It's not. The Adventure Time one is a pop-up.
Hell,
that one kicks ass.
That's a good vibe. I need to own more physical media, as we are finding out very, very quickly. Digital streaming is a very...
It's bad. They'll just take it away from you.
Unforgiving service. They will just straight up kill whatever they want with no remorse.
Justice for Infinity Train.
Justice for Infinity Train. Oh, God. So this episode begins with Pearl coming back to the Crystal Temple, and Steven's like, hey, Pearl, where you been? And she's like, well, looking for a Peridot, duh. And then, the comedic pause for the 1970s based laugh track that everyone knows. Yes, we're all familiar.
It's in every episode of Steven Universe, like 6 times.
Exactly. So yeah, Pearl's like, hey, I know I made everyone like disappointed, especially Garnet. And she wants to like try and gain everyone's trust again. I would kind of argue the only person who actually has a problem with her and maybe doesn't trust her is Garnet.
Yes, I think Garnet specifically is the one who was personally wronged by Pearl's actions, but I think also like how Pearl said like I'm sorry I disappointed you all, like she is meant to like set an example for Steven and also for Amethyst. And so behaving in such a way that was like knowingly dishonest and harmful and manipulative of someone that she and they all love, like they aren't like Amethyst and Steven aren't icing her out. They aren't punishing her for it. But I do think it is important that Pearl acknowledges that I did disappoint all of you with my actions. And I hurt Garnet in particular, but I did let my family down.
Yeah. I mean, she did also lie to all of them.
Like, was also just actively lying. Yep.
Not only lying, like giving them false hope that Peridot had a pattern, and if they caught her in that pattern, they catch her. And instead, it's just, hey, what if I rebuilt this transmission tower like 5 billion times so I can keep using with Garnet? And that's not cool beans. Speaking of Garnet, she comes back to the house and Pearl tries to talk to her, and Garnet's like ignoring her, about to go to the warpad. About that, she pauses because Pearl apologizes.
Very important. Still no acknowledgement.
Nope, she's stone-faced. But then, all of a sudden, who enters the room? Greg, who wants to go on a road trip. I love a Greg road trip. Always the best times.
He found some guy selling car wash brushes online for like crazy cheap. We just have to go to Keystone, the Keystone State. Hey, East Coasters, do you know which one the Keystone State is?
I accidentally looked at the trivia, so I can't answer this.
I don't know, and I don't remember. I'm gonna say, for some reason, my brain wants to say Virginia.
Nope.
Damn it.
I'll save it for the trivia.
Yeah, it's in there. Don't worry about it.
But the joke is, it's the slogan of a real ass state, and that's funny. That's this like AU Earth that Steven Universe is so fun.
Yeah, I mean, they have Delmarva, which is Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia, all in one. I just love how Steven does not like these brushes, specifically.
They feel weird on the fur.
Yes, they feel weird on your fur.
That's a Cat Fingers reference, right?
Yeah, maybe?
It has to be. I was just like, what is he talking about?
Crazy.
Your fur?
Because I'm like, Lion can't talk, so he doesn't know how it feels for Lion. I also don't think he's using car wash brush on Lion. As someone who has sold a few things on the internet to people who are across state lines, a lot of times the conversation when you're selling something to someone online across state lines is, hey, is it really a good deal factoring in the gas and the time to go get the thing across state lines? And I guess for Greg, yeah, it is.
You know, sometimes it's worth it. Why not? And also, he gets to have a fun hangout with his son. Why not?
Yeah. And also Garnet.
Yeah, they're all going to be in a motel, not a hotel, because Steven's like, I can't wait to order room service. No, buddy. It's a motel. There's going to be a pool, and there's going to be free ice, and there's going to be the best diner in the world. TM.
I love how when Garnet says, okay, I'm going to, and Greg has to like pivot and be like, hey, and he looks like panicked for a second. And it's not because he doesn't want Garnet to come. It's because he's worried that in being a parent hyping something up for their kid, they have accidentally oversold a thing to another adult. And he has to kind of be like, hey, Steven, earmuffs. No, Garnet, this place like sucks. This is not a travel destination. You do not really want to go here. Like, please, no. It's if you're coming because I made it sound cool, like, I'm sorry, it's not cool. And that was so cool.
Garnet just wants to be out of the house, away from Pearl.
That's not what it is. Garnet just wants to leave, which good for Garnet. She needs some space.
Yeah, exactly.
I just wanted there to be a joke. It's like, Garnet, there's a non-zero chance that like crime happens at this motel, and Garnet will be like, okay, I'll stop it.
Yeah, right? Like later on when he's like, hey, if I'm not back in an hour, call the police. And I'm like, Garnet's there.
Garnet's the police.
Just Garnet with her future vision. You'll be fine, Greg.
I mean, theoretically, if something did happen to Greg, would they have been okay in this episode?
No, in this episode, no. That's the thing. He doesn't know that Garnet's not okay.
They go to the Keystone and they arrive at the Keystone Motel. Greg is like, hey, the cool thing about a motel is you get to pull up to your room. I think the last time I stayed in a motel was like 2006. So I can't remember the last time really, but I do not remember I think my dad had driven us on a family trip and he had driven us into the motel parking lot. And I think we still had to do a decent amount of walking. So maybe not exactly true.
It depends how big the motel is. Like sometimes, like if it's, I don't know, if there's separate floors, maybe there's still walking.
Yeah, I feel like that's the distinguisher between like a motel and a hotel is that there aren't hallways between rooms because it's the outside stretch.
Yeah.
And that's not like to say every single motel is like that, but I feel like most motels are like that.
The difference between a hotel and a motel is that you don't have Mr. Mosby screaming in the lobby of a motel.
Well, yeah, motels don't have lobbies.
No, they don't.
That's not true. They kind of do.
They
have
like
check-in desks.
Check-in desks. That's what it's like a barely lit, flickering light room with like some 50-year-old guy who doesn't give a crap. He's like, here's your room key. Don't die on the door.
You can die in the room. That's fine. Just not in the door.
So yeah, they go in, they check for bed bugs, which is, a very reasonable thing you should do, even in nice hotels, because sometimes they do skimp on that to save a buck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why are you saying that with like the disdain of someone who's had to experience it, Charlie?
No, that's not what was happening there. I was just agreeing with you.
Oh, okay. No, I misunderstood the way you were saying. Yeah. I'm like, Charlie.
You did just sound very tired.
Charlie is tired and very cold, and I can't have the heater on while I record. So,
shout out to January being a cold bitch.
Such a cold bitch.
Shout out to me at being -2 degrees here.
Woof. That's a rough one. That
Chicago.
Is bad.
Not the windy city, more like the frozen city.
Yeah.
So yeah, Greg gets a message on his phone and it's like, hey, it's time to pick up the tunnel brushes. Hey, Garnet, watch over the room. If I don't come back in an hour, call the cops.
Yep. And then almost immediately, like Steven's trying to, make, chill in the room and everything. And then Garnet's like gone. Garnet has split up. She was talking to herself.
Wait, like, Charlie, wouldn't you mean she's gone?
She's gone. Yes, correct. That's how you have to say it. It's required.
This was, I don't remember this episode being like advertised beyond, Steven, Greg, and Garnet go on a wacky trip to the Keystone Motel. I don't think Garnet defusing was advertised. So this was like a pleasant surprise, at least for me.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I was not watching the show live at this point yet. I'll tell you when we get to the episode that I first saw, like, after it aired.
Rip.
It was 10 years ago, and I was pirating it all as the episodes came out. I wasn't watching the ads. I just knew when the next episode was coming out.
That's fair.
God bless. Pirate away. Everyone, I definitely don't recommend going to the torrenting subreddit, and I don't recommend looking at the instructions of how to torrent stuff successfully without getting caught. Because as we know, physical media dwindling and streaming services will kill you.
Yeah, so Garnet has split up. This is important. They literally just could not agree how to handle the Pearl situation. Like, Sapphire's just like, I've accepted it. It happened. I'm ready to move on.
No, you're not.
I would
But
argue
she really hasn't.
I would argue her point isn't even that, like, oh, I've accepted it happened. It is, we are going to forgive her. So we might as well just get to that point because it's going to be easier if we just forgive her already. A thing that we know we're going to do because we love Pearl. She is our family. We will forgive her. So we might as well jump to that.
I love that interpretation. That's probably what the interpretation was intended. I also like viewing it as she's using her future vision to be like, oh yeah, we forgive her in the future. We might as well just do it sooner. It'll probably be more advantageous.
Yeah, like, that also, yeah.
Like, it needs to help the group dynamic. We need to just, forgive her now, so that way we're a team when we need to
forgive her eventually. So let's make it the eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Ruby's just like, excuse me?
Mhm.
No, I have a right to be mad. Why are you not feeling anything? And this is like, it's so interesting how they have their different, like, how they, this is really like how different people process emotions. Just in general, some people are the suffer in silence type. Some people are the type.
Yeah, I think it's also some folks are gonna try to intellectualize their feelings and will frame that as processing their emotions, even though it's not. Like,
No.
I am over it. I am beyond it. Yes, it happened, and we will move past it. So I have moved past it because that's logical. But that is not actually processing or feeling.
No.
Whereas Ruby is also the thing where it's like, I'm going to feel my feelings, but I'm not going to process them. I'm just going to live here with them forever, but not actually go through the experience of like, I'm angry, and let that anger like be processed into like, why am I angry? I feel betrayed. I feel hurt. I feel sad. I feel unloved. And like, that's the actual processing of emotion, is identifying the feeling, experiencing the feeling, and letting that feeling go through you as an experience. And they're both just like, neither of them are actually experiencing it. They're both just like showing different ways of like, on not healthy ways of dealing with a bad thing that happened to you. I think that's so interesting.
Yeah.
It's also really interesting because, like, again, they're two parts of a whole person who is like the internal turmoil is like being afflicted to, but also I feel like everyone knows a couple or is part of a couple who has the like forgiving whatever, let it go person, and has the no, fuck them, I will make sure they suffer person.
Yeah. Or like you can feel both those things where like, I'm angry now and I want to be angry and I want to punish them because they hurt me. But also I don't want to feel that way. I just want it to be over. I want everything to be okay again. And like that within yourself is also like a very real thing that like, I don't know. The show's well written. I don't know. Weird.
Y'all,
Like
the
it's worth talking
emotions.
about 10 years later.
No way.
Damn.
Really?
Holy crap, y'all. Ruby is starting to burn the carpet as she's pacing, so she has to leave the room. And Steven goes to the pool. And I don't know what it is, but like the way they drew Steven's hair when he's in the pool. Oh, because it's wet. I'm like, it's different. No shit, Sherlock, it's different. It's because his hair got wet.
Curly hair and it's wet now. Yeah.
I say this as someone with hair that tends to curl, and then when I get it wet, it gets weird.
Also, I just want to say, there are so many moments in this episode that you just like pause it and Ruby's doing the best face ever. Like this episode has the best screen caps.
She's just so much.
Ruby is giving future Peridot a run for her money with like wacky freeze frame shots. I will say, because Ruby is like pacing around the pool complaining, and she's like, listen, why are we always the bigger gem, Steven? Like, what the fuck? And Steven's like, I'm gonna go in the pool. Hey, you wanna go in the pool with me? And Ruby is still like mad about it, but she's like, yeah, sure, I'll go in the pool with you, Steven. I love you. And that's kind of maybe my favorite part of this episode, is that however Ruby and Sapphire are processing their emotions and feelings, they still take the time to interact with and do the things Steven wants to do because they love him so much.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that. I think that like also really adds into the end of the episode where Steven reveals that like this is hurting him because he's a kid and doesn't understand. And even though Ruby and Sapphire have actively been like, okay, I'll go in the pool with Steven, but I'm still mad and I'm going to like focus on my thing. Or yeah, Steven will watch TV. I'm still icy and freezing everything. Like they did not realize that in the way they were processing their hurt was also making Steven feel hurt. And I don't love that. Oh, I love that. Like that it happens in real life and that sucks. But like, I love that as demonstrated in this program.
Yeah. You like it's being represented that can happen.
that can happen. And it doesn't make Ruby or Sapphire bad people or abusive parents. It makes them normal. But also it's like, what is
human?
the energy? Human? But it's all about like, hey, what energy am I bringing to a space, and is that the energy I want to bring to the space? Because it is a little bit like, yeah, Garnet needed to get away, but maybe she shouldn't have gone on this trip that was supposed to be fun for Greg and Steven at this point in time. Like that did kind of ruin the trip for Steven. And that's definitely not what she wanted. And I think if this wasn't happening, she'll probably still would have gone and they would have had a really nice time together. And so it's like, hey, like being aware of like, if you are processing something big and heavy, like you can, of course, lean on your friends and your loved ones to be there for you. But are you doing that in a way that's just asking too much or making them feel like they can't carry that load? Like, it all worked out, but I don't think Garnet should have gone on this trip because she was not being aware of the energy she brought to this experience.
Fuck, what's that meme about Chili's? I don't like the vibe we have in this Chili's tonight.
I'm very uncomfortable by the energy we've created in the studio.
Yeah.
What if instead it had been Pearl? What if, like, Garnet had stayed home with Amethyst and Pearl had gone on the trip? Do you think it would have gone better? Do you think things would have been resolved?
No, I mean, I think for the narrative, like, it does Pearl or Garnet being the one to go, because the whole thing is what allows Ruby and Sapphire to realize that they do need to be processing their feelings in a more healthy way for the situation. And so obviously this is what needed to happen. And I think it does work out for the best. I think even if Pearl went, I don't think it would have been a good trip. With just Pearl, I don't know. Pearl is so good at masking and so good at just reprioritizing other people's needs that she probably would have just hyper focused on Steven and everything Steven wanted to do. And I think that would have been overwhelming for Steven in a different way. Because he is very like empathetic and would have immediately picked up on that Pearl is not okay and not actually having fun. So I think, and then we could have had a very different interaction of Pearl being like, hey, you can't fix this by doing things. Like, Pearl is a doer. She likes to clean. She likes to take care. Like, she demonstrates her affection by being like acts of service because she is a Pearl. That's what she's hardwired to do. It's what she likes to do. You can't fix the hurt you did to Garnet through acts of service. But she did make a start, as we see with the apology, because that does hit Garnet. And I think that's when Garnet and Ruby start, or Sapphire and Ruby start to clash, because I think that's when Sapphire's like, okay, we're going to forgive her, so let's just forgive her. And Ruby's like, fuck off, I'm still mad.
Yeah.
It's fusion, Sapphire. What's more personal to us than fusion? Which is like a valid thing to say.
Yeah, which is why, like, again, I keep bringing it up because it was a semi-recent episode, but, like, keeping it together, like, that was, like, really important for Garnet.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that really messed with her head. It's, like, fusion is important to her, just in general.
I wanted to talk about, because I love this string of episodes for the ideas and character elements that they introduce that culminate to this like 3-part element of like Cry for Help, Keystone Motel, and then the next episode, which I didn't write down the name for that episode because someone else can talk about that. But it's not my place. But in keeping it together, that is where we're introduced to the like corrupted fusion experiments of like the shattered crystal gems and how traumatic that is for Garnet, and Garnet having conversations with Steven about what fusion represents to her, and how even when Sapphire and Ruby are apart, Garnet still exists because she is their love. And in the very next one, in like We Need to Talk, we get what Pearl's view of fusion is through how she like explains it to Greg as like this ultimate act of like oneness, but also like how she, when she whips it out to fuse with Rose Quartz as like a power play of like who gets to be more intimate with Rose. And it's like Pearl views it as an opportunity for intimacy to, or someone to demonstrate to her that she is valuable to them. And then the next episode in Sheltered, we get Malachite, where we see this like really terrible fusion experience that these two gems are in and how that's troubling. And then Cry to Help, we get Pearl abusing Garnet's trust in her quest and desire for intimacy. And in Keystone is the fallout from that. But like all of these episodes, like you can watch like Keystone Motel without watching Keeping It Together and not be confused as to what's going on. But if you haven't watched Keeping It Together, you know Garnet's mad because she's a fusion. Of course she'll be mad. But like Keeping It Together introduced this really major interpretation and deeper understanding of fusion beyond just being like, it is what Garnet is, but here's what she believes about it. And then you can see like, hey, Pearl, that was kind of shitty what you did to Garnet and Cry for Help. If you haven't seen We Need to Talk, it doesn't make it less shitty, but it does add more context to like, oh, this is what drives Pearl. This is why she did this. It doesn't make it okay. But like, I love how it's like these episodes are not like cliffhanger right into the next one, but they introduce so many good themes that culminate into just a very satisfying narrative for these characters and their growth.
Yeah. And then I was just like, what is the next episode? The next one, Onion Friend, is like, it ends up being about like Amethyst and how she's been dealing with all this shit at home as well. So
okay, so it's
still
one. It's so then they don't, Garnet and Pearl don't make up yet.
no. Then
No,
there's another one that's historical friction is kind of fillery. Friendship is when they get back
That's
together.
when they make up. Yeah.
So it's like a whole like throughout the Stephen bomb, basically. They're
dealing with
this shit. So.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So we were at the pool.
Ruby is, doing her little ranting. Steven's like, join me in the pool. It's fun. Hey, the water's great. Ruby walks into the pool. And because Ruby, has this been established before this episode that Ruby and Sapphire can control like fire and ice respectively?
I was going to ask, I think this is the first time we see that they have elemental abilities. Because that's not something Garnet has or demonstrates having, because I think she's just a perfect blend of the two.
Arguably, she kind of does because she is resistant to lava. She has swum in lava multiple times.
Okay, so that's where it manifests, and she has like high elemental resistance to fire and ice.
I feel like Garnet should have like some kind of like lightning power because of this, because it's like the two extremes meeting, or she should have something based off of like the fact that it's fire and ice meeting in the middle. I don't know. So Ruby, at the bottom of the pool.
Wait, I have a joke.
Yeah.
So, hey, can we all remind the audience what the lovely first song Garnet sings when she refuses is called?
Stronger Than You?
Yes. So, but if Ruby controls fire and Sapphire controls ice, one could say it is a song of fire and ice.
Hey.
Glad we backtracked for that joke.
You're welcome. Cool. So Ruby is just like still like but she's all like this and she's all like this. She's just going off about the whole Sapphire thing and the whole Pearl thing, but she's at the bottom of the pool having this argument with herself, and she's making it so warm that Steven's body cannot handle it. It's boiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, just from like, oh, it's a hot tub to you're in a boiling pot of water, Steven. He's like, skin turns red. He is scalded.
The imagery I'm instantly thinking of is that I think it's a philosophical thing or whatever it is, where it's like, if you put a frog into a pot of boiling water, it'll jump out. But if you slowly turn up the temperature while the frog will also jump out, by the way. This is not proven science. But if you put the frog into, I have to point that out because people think this. The only reason I'm referencing is because the only thing it made me think of, but also like if you put a frog in water that slowly gets hotter, the frog will also jump out. People approve this.
Frog will be like, this is weird.
Yeah. But hey, Steven was having a good time chilling with Ruby, and then the heating up of the pool, aka Ruby's venting and Ruby's inability to process her feelings properly, hurt Steven, both literally and physically. Or metaphorically and physically. There we go. Jesus Christ.
Yep. So Steven, who is not a hot frog, is now gone. He went back to the room, and he's like, okay, fine, I'm just gonna chill with Sapphire again. Literally chill, because it is frozen in here. Bro, the way that my apartment is this room right now. Rip. Same vibe. It's so fucking cold.
Steven turns on the TV and he's like, hey, Sapphire, what channel? Use your future vision. What channel am I going to like? And she's like, 43, but there's not much on. Which, I mean, yeah, that's the vibes. Also, the other thing that's like, wow, all the channel numbers are different. Yeah, that's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on with hotel room TVs, but like, they definitely have different channel numbers somehow.
Well, yeah, if you're watching local TV in a different place, the channels are different.
Yeah, it's because he went to a different state. That's why.
Oh,
that's the joke.
I did not clock that.
Yeah.
43 is also the channel that Cartoon Network airs on in the Keystone State.
Oh, good shit.
Nice little reference. Steven's cold because as we remember, Steven is currently still in his bathing suit.
He'd be cold even if he was in his regular clothes. Let's be clear here.
He is extra cold because he's in his bathing suit and he's freshly wet.
Oh God, what if that all froze when he entered the room?
It probably did. He's got little droplets of wet. His hair is frozen.
Ooh.
There's a scene of Christopher Lloyd in a movie. I forget what movie it was, but he's like, I was frozen today. And that's something I think about fairly regularly. But Steven was not frozen. Instead, he tries to ask Sapphire a question, and Sapphire's like, nope. Look, you're going to tell me that I should talk to Ruby, but it's not going to matter. Ruby is still upset, and Sapphire is like, it's irrelevant, and Ruby can't stay mad at Pearl and herself forever. Which is, I mean, not how you handle someone's anger.
Mm-mm.
They'll get over it, so it doesn't matter. Like that, no.
But flip side, when Ruby and Sapphire first split, Ruby did just want to yell and rage. So, like, being dismissive of someone's feelings and be like, oh, you're going to get over it isn't the great way. But simultaneously, like, Sapphire doesn't have to have a conversation with Ruby if all Ruby's going to do is scream and yell. Like, I think that's also, like, I think that's also something this show is also, like, demonstrating is that, like, Ruby and Sapphire should talk. They will work it out. But neither of them are in a state to have a healthy conversation right now. And actually, I think it's good that they don't try to talk that night.
Yeah, probably. So Steven tries to go piss, cannot do that because the toilet is frozen.
Such is life, as it is inevitable. Sapphire! She's so funny. Oh god, I love how deadpan Sapphire is. She's so funny.
Right? So good. So he goes outside because Greg is back, and Greg has pizza! Yay! 1, Greg was not murdered. Yay! 2, Greg has food!
Thank goodness.
And he got the tunnel brushes. He walks into the room and Sapphire is like, he's not going to like that it's square. And then Greg just closes the door. Greg is like, oh, Garnet split. So where's the other one? And Steven points to Ruby, who is still pacing in the remnants of the pool because she boiled all the water out.
Mm-hmm. I like that this is how we learn that Greg knows Garnet is a fusion. When he just sees Sapphire, he's not confused. He's not like, who's that? He just turns and is like, okay, where's the other one? Like, oh man. He has seen this before. You know, I wonder if it happened when Rose disappeared.
Possibly.
Like, I wonder if Garnet and if Ruby and Sapphire during that time maybe had some big feelings about it. Because he's not surprised. And the fact that he knows, like, all right, I know what's up. Something big happened. Like, this, he's seen this before.
Yeah, probably.
I like the reminders that Greg has known the Crystal Gems for a long time and had a relationship with them outside of Steven and long before Steven showed up. I think that makes the world and the narrative feel very rich.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So there's square pizza. Steven is not happy about it.
There's this great pizza chain in like the Midwest. It's called Jet's Pizza. And every time I go to somewhere that has Jet's Pizza, I order it. I get it from it because it's fucking delicious. And I went to I went to St. Louis, Missouri.
Not here.
Not here. And
I got you Chicago connection when you were here.
Yes, you did. It was also good.
Yeah.
But square pizza is good.
I think he's not going to like that it's square is one of my favorite jokes in the whole series because it is such a bizarre thing for her to just say. And then the audience has no idea what the hell is Sapphire talking about. And then the payoff later is, I don't know. It's exactly my kind of humor.
I love it. It's very good. So, it does not get resolved that night, as we've already mentioned. So the gang goes to the diner, the best diner ever, right? Nothing could possibly go wrong at the diner.
They're gonna have a great breakfast. Breakfast makes everything better.
It makes everything better for me, at least.
God, I love breakfast.
Like, yeah, for real.
Yeah.
A really good egg. Y'all, can I tell you about these scrambled eggs I made? It's related to diners, I promise. I love a good scrambled egg that tastes like it's wet but isn't runny. Do you know what I mean? And they're fluffy, though. I found putting a little bit of chicken broth in your scrambled egg, like when you're scrambling the egg, not when it's like cooked. That helps a lot with the flavor profile. That's what I'm looking for. But the texture, I recently discovered it is done in a style that is, it's called you fold the eggs. Instead of scrambling them when they're in the dish, you're just pulling them inward the whole time. It is a style of egg that was popularized in Australian diners. And they are the best fucking scrambled eggs I've ever had. They're so, you like let them sit for 20 seconds, then you just pull them in for another 20 seconds and you flip them over and you put them on the plate. That's the best diner in the world. They got some good damn scrambled eggs.
Hell yeah.
I like burning my omelets.
Well, that's a choice you can make. Just like your grilled cheese, I guess.
I like burning food, okay?
The secret
Listen,
is not
burnt
blasting shit
cheese.
with high heat. And I'm telling that to myself mainly because every time I turn on the heat for a frying pan, I'm like, oh, high heat, bam. And then I'm confused as to why things like
Why
cook
did my
really
butter
fast.
burn?
Why did my butter burn?
No, the answer to both of these is that there's both cheese on them, and burnt cheese just makes everything taste so much better. Listen.
Yeah, you fuck with a good burnt cheese. But like a good burn. Like if you burnt it too much and it's nasty black and terrible, no, that's
not
bad.
like when I half burn my grilled cheese and it's like, that's the bread. No, I want the burnt cheese. Come on.
That's the tax bracket I'm in. If I burn my toast, I just scrape off the burnt part and I eat the rest.
That's what I did.
And put that on my taxes. What bracket are you in? I scrape off the burnt part of the toast. Shit, I gotta go buy bread.
I did this to my grilled cheese. Like, I literally scraped off the burnt parts.
That may unironically be one of the funniest things I've said on this podcast, and it just came to me for no fucking reason.
Brilliant. Honestly, inspired.
Sapphire, so they're there, and Garnet and Ruby and Sapphire aren't eating, and Greg's like, well, Garnet likes to eat sometimes, and Ruby's like, well, Garnet's not here. She's gone! Greg is trying to lighten the mood. He's like, yeah, it's the best diner in the world. Ruby is growing more agitated, shaking the table. Sapphire is calmly telling her, hey, you're shaking the table. And Ruby is surprised that Sapphire is feeling anything, which I mean,
like, you feel it? Huh? It's one of those digs, you know, that you have when you're that angry.
To your partner, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she just shakes it more, and then, you know, everything has gone to shit. Like, the table's flipped, and then Steven...
It's a diner. That table's bolted to the ground.
Oh, wait. This is when she says my favorite line of the episode. I am an eternal flame, baby!
So good.
And then they stirs the table, and Steven starts to cry, and Greg's like, hey, we saved the breakfast, and Steven is upset, and he just leaves the diner. Drops his plate on the floor. Rip. That looked like good bacon and eggs, but rip.
It looked a little over easy for me.
Yeah, they got sunny side up eggs, bacon. Steven got toast, and everybody got a strawberry. Just
looks like a happy face.
Let him live. Let him live. Let him live. Let him cook.
It's a diner next to a motel.
Why do you have a strawberry? Where shouldn't you have that on pancakes?
Let him cook.
I'm questioning.
Seasonal fruit. It's the seasonal fruit. Actually, surprised it's not a chunk of melon.
Like just one strawberry?
No, that's definitely more like cheap motel diner vibes, like a hacked up melon.
We get you a side of fruit, and you've just given me 3 cubes of cantaloupe and 2 cubes of honeydew and 4 grapes.
That's better than a single strawberry.
I know. I would rather have a single strawberry.
Oh, absolutely. 100% agree.
I'm not going to eat any of the fucking melon you gave me. It's bad melon.
I'm going to eat the grapes. That's just
I'll eat the grapes. But like, I'd rather have 1 strawberry than 4 grapes.
I feel like we are coming up with a riddle that can be solved out of the riddle 3 from like A Troll Under the Bridge. What would you rather prefer, a strawberry or 4 grapes?
4 grapes. It's a personality quiz. I'm gonna sort you into your fucking cabin at Camp Half-Blood. Who's your godly parent? Would you rather have a strawberry or 4 grapes?
No, we'll figure out which crying breakfast friend you are.
Oh, that's so good!
Yeah.
Have y'all made that quiz yet?
We haven't. Oh god, maybe we should make that
quiz.
quiz. Yeah. So yeah, Ruby and Sapphire rush out to Steven to talk to him. Steven is angry. He was excited that Garnet wanted to come, but it's because he thought she wanted to have fun. But the trip is no different from home, which has been awful. Let him hear it, Steven. Speak your truth.
And it's the question of like, I don't know, it followed us here. Like, is it me? Is it my fault things aren't working? Which is like, again, such a kid response because Steven's a kid. That's like how kids feel when the adults around them are bringing their baggage around. The kid is like, even though Steven knows exactly what happened, it's still like if your parents are getting divorced, you still feel like you are responsible for the fact that your parents are unhappy.
This is part of Steven's like whole like descent into what we see in future. I feel like part of this is like Steven solving other people's problems in this episode. Because like,
I don't know. Because he doesn't solve Ruby and Sapphire's problem. He just vocalizes. If anything, I feel like it is one of those things that keeps him from hitting that point so soon, because he expresses his own feelings, his own needs, and Ruby and Sapphire respond to that. Like, he doesn't turn around and solve them fighting. He doesn't turn around and solve Garnet and Pearl. He just is like, hey, this hurts me. And actually has a moment of seeing that the people who he loves and who love him do care about him and don't want him to hurt. Because when it hits Sapphire, like, I love her line where she's just like, I've been living in the future where this is already resolved, as if what's happening now doesn't matter. And of course you think I don't feel it. Of course I made you think it was your fault. And then she just starts crying and has this very intensely emotional response because she is letting herself feel, oh, I haven't been feeling how much this hurts. And also the like guilt of like, oh no, I hurt Steven because of this. That sucks. I mean, again, don't love that she's crying, but love it for narrative.
Yeah. Okay. I see your point.
Absolutely. So yeah, and then inevitably Sapphire's like, damn, I've been living too far in the future. I didn't think about the present. And Ruby's like, nah, it's my fault. I was angry and I should have found a solution rather than be rageful. I mean, I don't know. I feel like out of the two of them, if I had to be like, nope, you won the argument, I kind of feel like Ruby kind of won the argument.
No, because I think
in a way.
Ruby's thing wasn't about we should feel our feelings and then process them. She just wanted to stay mad. Like, she didn't want...
Yeah, we needed the medium between them because they're supposed to be the two extremes is the whole point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
so we needed to come together.
Yeah, Ruby didn't want to think about Ruby didn't think about what she needed to move past her anger. She just wanted to hold the anger. Sapphire didn't even want to think about processing her anger. She just wanted to be past it. So, like we see, they meet in the middle. And then we get, like, yes, the Ruby Sapphire hug, spin around, kiss. They don't...
Listen, they're super cute.
They're super cute. Like, we get so much, lesbian couple here with Ruby and Sapphire. Oh my god, Ruby, what does she say? You know what the best part of being split up is? I get to look at you. What? And then Sapphire, you're embarrassing me in front of Steven. And then she, like, holds her and swings her around, and then she kisses her. I think she kisses her neck.
Yeah, she does.
Like, and that's when Steven covers his eyes, and I'm like, ooh, wow, girls, ladies.
You're getting steamy.
Your son is here. Your nephew is right there.
Yeah.
But hey,
Garnet's back.
Garnet's back.
She's like, we gotta get ice.
We gotta get ice. Greg comes from the restaurant, by the way, and he's like, yeah, paid for the breakfast. I also paid for the table. Rip. So any money that Greg saved getting these like discount brushes for the car wash, gone.
Oh, poor Greg.
Yeah. The trio return back to the beach house where they see Pearl and Amethyst quietly talking about stuff. And Garnet walks in and Pearl's like, hey, how are you? And Garnet replies, not now. Which, I mean, hey, baby steps. You've gone from ignoring her to being like, listen, we'll have this at some point, just not now.
Yeah, and I think that's so good because it demonstrates that Garnet does not have to forgive Pearl right now, because that would be antithetical to the theme of the episode. Nor does Garnet need to continue to stay so peak angry, I can't talk to you. Because I think it wasn't even that Garnet was ignoring Pearl. I think she was so angry that she literally couldn't talk to Pearl. Like, and now we are at the point where she is moving past that, like, I'm too angry to speak to you, but I am not ready to speak to you yet. And so not now. It's so good. I think it also demonstrates to, again, good lesson for audience members. You don't have to talk to someone if you're not ready to talk to them. But you shouldn't not talk to someone as a means of punishing them, because that's not helpful to you or that person or the relationship, especially if it's a relationship that is meaningful and one you care about. But you can say, I'm not ready to talk yet.
Yeah. Pearl's surprised because she's like, Garnet spoke to me. And Greg is like, well, truly was a great trip. Because I guess Garnet got something out of this trip that here's what everyone got. Greg got the brushes. Garnet got some level of understanding her anger. Steven got hypothermia.
he both got
Steven got ice.
Yeah, he got ice. That's true.
He got his ice.
Square pizza
that he didn't eat apparently because he didn't like it. I mean, listen, you know what? I don't. It's just pizza.
Here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Those middle slices are going to have a bad cheese to crust ratio.
Oh, they're going to have like virtually no fucking crust. It'll
No
be
crust, too much.
Listen, sometimes I like those though. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes I'm just like, cheese?
Sometimes you
Cheese.
just want to be
I
a messy
like
bitch
cheese.
with a lot of cheese and sauce. It's under the sauce.
It's under the sauce.
Steven's like, hey, can we go on another trip someday? And Greg's like, yep, just not to that diner. Because, they've probably been banned. And the episode ends with the star iris closing over Greg as he sighs, oh boy.
Aw.
And now, Robert, what do we do now? We talked about the episode.
Well, I believe we go to the Crystal Temple trivia to have breakfast in the diner.
Okay.
Does the diner in the Crystal Temple also serve way too sunny side up eggs and slices of bacon with one strawberry?
That's the real question, honestly. All right, this episode is symbolized in the promo art for the third semen bomb with a breakfast platter in the form of a smiling face. This breakfast platter was shown to be the gang's breakfast at the best diner in the world. Only Sapphire had a straight-faced breakfast platter.
Rip.
Oh,
makes
boy.
sense. She was not showing any emotion, so that makes sense. The diner folks read into that.
Keystone is not an actual state outside of the show, but it is a nickname for the real life state of Pennsylvania. Damn it. The image on the brochure Greg has is identical to the shape of the real world Pennsylvania. I should have guessed Pennsylvania.
I'm surprised you didn't. I super actually saw it on your lips when you guessed Virginia earlier. This episode reveals that although it has never been shown in the series, Garnet has eaten in the past. It is unknown, however, if she is still open to this, though in the episode Secret Team, Garnet was drinking something at Fish Stew Pizza to indulge Steven.
The episode may allude to Steven being a keystone species, a species that has a unique and crucial role in maintaining a community or ecosystem. Without it, the ecosystem or community would be dramatically different or cease to exist altogether.
See, that's the shit that makes
metaphor.
Steven become what he becomes in Steven fucking future.
Yeah.
Like, that's the shit. I think it's just a joke about Keystone in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it probably is.
I think it's just an East Coast joke.
Hey, so this wacky little episode has a controversy section. Wowza.
Yeah, it does.
Shortly after the episode aired, Google reviews for an actual Keystone Motel located in St. Pete Beach, Florida, were written by fans of the show. The dishonest reviews made reference to the episode, such as complaining about how their toilet was frozen, how their pizza was square-shaped, or how the pool had been completely evaporated during their stay. This activity was brought to the attention of Steven Universe crew Ian Jones-Cordy and Matt Burnett. Both appealed to the fans when they were asked about the ongoing incident. Burnett responded by calling fans out on Twitter and stating, messing with some innocent person's livelihood isn't funny. Jones-Cordy, however, was less critical, stating on Twitter that they probably shouldn't be doing that, but he won't deny that it's funny. There have been many appeals from fans since the incident to remove any reviews from Google that have been made by others, and attempts made by fans to contact the motel to apologize. Oof, ouch.
Yeah, I remember hearing about this.
That's very cringe internet fandom behavior. Yeah. That is the thing where you're so engaged with your bubble in interacting with this fictional piece of media that or engage with the meme that the idea that a real human being exists on the other end does not compute. And it's troubling. Don't do that. Touch grass.
Touch grass, people. Seriously.
Absolutely. I think the most recent example I've experienced of like a fandom going crazy is that back when MatPat hosted Game Theory, he made an off comment about how like, oh, there's a pizza in the same coordinates as a coordinates in one of the Five Nights at Freddy's books. And then the fans bombarded that pizzeria with phone calls being like, are you secretly Freddy Five Bears at Freddy's? Are you? And that was cringe and annoying too.
Yeah, it's like, don't do that.
No. Cultural references.
Are we reading those?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Keep going.
The best diner in the world is based on an 80s style diner.
I love that. The square pizza may be referenced to Pizza Hut and several other restaurants making square pizzas. The square pizza may also be a reference to Sicilian-style pizzas. In Northeast Pennsylvania, the popular Old Forge-style pizza is referred to as square pizza, and often topped with American cheese. Pizzas are called trays instead of pies, and they are divided into cuts rather than slices as well. When at some pizzerias in the region of Scranton, mostly those that advertise it or are in the small town of Old Forge. Asking for a square pizza usually means you want an Old Forge style pizza instead of a more ubiquitous Neapolitan or Chicago pan pizza. Damn. Pizza.
When Steven asks Sapphire what channel he would want to watch, Sapphire responds with 43, but there's nothing much on. Channel 43 is a channel listing for the standard definition version of Cartoon Network in Pennsylvania.
Greg says, I'm off to see a man about a tunnel brush. A play on the expression, see a man about a dog, or horse. A euphemism that originally referenced placing bats on races and later became used to excuse oneself from a conversation without divulging the true reason.
I think we need to bring this saying back. I haven't said it in a while, but like we need to bring this back in full.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would be game for that. That sounds like fun. When Greg says, if I'm not back soon, call the police, it could be a reference to the Keystone Cops, spelled with a K, stars of a series of popular shorts in the silent movie era, partly because they are in the state of Keystone.
I hate God. Greg's line, hey Garnet, I know I'm taking this hey Garnet, I know I'm talking this place up, but it ain't exactly the Ritz, may be a reference to the Ritz, a 5-star hotel in London. No.
Oh my god.
No. Steven Universe Wiki. It's not, it may be a reference. It is a reference.
It is a reference.
It feels like that choice in like using may feels like that, well, it's never been confirmed by the show, so we can't say for sure that it is. And it's like, okay. Keystone Caverns is likely a reference to Crystal Cave, a natural attraction in southeast Pennsylvania.
In the Brazilian dub of the episode, Greg mentions a real-life place called
Copacabana.
Copacabana Palace. Cool.
At the Copacabana. All right.
And on to continuity.
When Steven mentions the feeling of the car brushes on his fur, he's referencing going through the car wash during his out-of-control shape-shifting in the episode Cat Fingers.
Confirmed.
Garnet, and to an extent Ruby and Sapphire, still show strong emotion towards the misuse of fusion, like in Keeping It Together.
Garnet is still angry at Pearl from the previous episode. After the incident with the communication hub, she is unwilling to forgive or even to speak to her, even though Pearl has been away from the base in search of Peridot and her own hoped-for redemption.
Garnet's quote on your old names being like names on your left arm and your right from Keeping It Together is subtly referenced when Garnet's hands are shaking uncontrollably before Greg leaves.
Greg's comment about breakfast bringing people together is a callback to one of Steven's lines in Together Breakfast.
Hey! Upon seeing Ruby and Sapphire, Greg implies that he has dealt with one of Garnet's breakups in the past.
And lastly, in Joyride, Steven earnestly stated, I don't have anything against squares. I like all basic shapes. But in this episode, when Greg shows him the square pizza, he exclaims, Square pizza? What's wrong with this crazy state? It is possible that Steven freaks out because he's already a little stressed due to Ruby and Sapphire's conflict.
Yeah, I think if he wasn't already like emotionally afraid, Steven would have been pretty jazzed about square pizza.
Yeah.
He just needed something to be normal. And this pizza wasn't even normal.
Come on, I need something. I need some semblance of comfort.
Mm-hmm. And you can't even have that in Keystone.
No. All right.
Well, friends, who are we giving our Pearl points to this time?
Greg.
Oh God, I usually like giving it to the little guys. There are 2 little guys. So you know what? Fuck it. Half a point for Ruby, half a point for Sapphire.
I'm gonna give it to the square pizza. It's just it's just there. It's not doing anything wrong.
I did say the square pizza was my favorite joke. No, Sapphire's comment is my favorite joke. The square pizza is the punchline of that joke. It's still Greg. I love Greg. He's a good dad.
I also love Greg. I usually give Greg all my points. So
my second one would have been the guy who was selling the car wash brushes and was not an axe murderer.
We love it when you're not an axe murderer. And now the question, what the hell is the question going to be? Have you ever purchased something from someone online and gone to go pick it up?
Yeah, I bought Baby Gates online a couple summers ago when the AC went out in July and we had to get like these standing AC units and we had to put them in the halls between the bedrooms. So we had to have the doors open all the time to get the AC in. But we didn't want my brother's little dog running in and out of everybody's rooms and getting into mischief and peeing on the carpet. So I got Baby Gates for me and the other roommates to keep the dog out. So yeah. That's my story of how I bought a Baby Gate online 2 summers ago.
Charlie?
I have not yet, I'm kind of scared to eventually do that. I've like accompanied my mom when she had to do that. Like she bought stuff on Facebook Marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever she did that, she met the people like in front of the police station as a safe
smart.
place to go.
Yeah, that's smart. Just meet them in front of the Chinese buffet near my house. I do need to sell. I'll probably on Facebook. I got like a shit ton of Sandman stuff that I need to get out of my house because reasons. So
unfortunate reasons that have come to light more prominently.
I'm gonna replace it with
recent
Discworld
history.
stuff. It's fine.
Woo! All right. What have I bought online? I haven't bought anything online. I did sell a computer not too long ago, and that was not a terrible experience, despite so many red flags. But it still worked out in the end.
Nice. Yeah, I sold my old computer online and I was charging $100 for it. And then when the guy went to turn it on, it was fucking not turning on. And I'm like, shit, man, I'm so sorry. Like, he's like, my girlfriend needs a computer. I'm pretty sure I could fix this one up. And I'm like, it's not even turning on. You can just have it. Like, just take it. Really. He's like, well, are you sure? Can I at least give you like $50? And I'm like, yeah, man, if you want to give me $50 in this McDonald's, sure, I will give you I'm pretty sure. I didn't think it was broken. I'm afraid it's broken. So that worked out for everybody. I hope he got it working. I hope it had a good second life with this other gal. I just needed a smaller laptop for editing on the go. That was right before I went to New York and got to see y'all in person for the first time.
Hey.
Nice. Good times. Well, Darien, thank you for joining us again. If you'd like to remind everyone where they can find you on the internets.
And your mini pods.
My mini pods. Thank you so much for having me. Even though I got silly drunk last time, I appreciate you trust me to coming back and continuing to discuss the Ruby Sapphire narrative because it is one of my favorite ones of the show. Dear listeners, you can find me in a lot of places. If you like mythology and stuff, you should be listening to Of the Eldest Gods. But if you're caught up with Of the Eldest Gods and you would like more Percy Jackson mythology content, Muses of Mythology is for you. I co-host that with my brother DJ. He was there last time. He was the sober one. If you like that, but want hey, you know what I'd really like to hear? You and someone else talk about the Aragon books. Well, buddy, you're in luck. That's Aragon and back again. We are about to start Eldest, so it's a great time to jump in. And if you're like, that sounds good, but what if I want to listen to you and another person tell you, Darien, all about a ongoing tabletop miniatures game that you know nothing about? Well, that's going to be the Bad Moons Orbit, where my buddy Dalton tells me all about Warhammer AOS. We are not a 40K podcast. That's
amazing.
There's three. That's the three. Or follow me on Instagram. I'm writing a book. Read it someday.
Woo! Also that.
Darien's really cool.
I think that's the first time I've ever said that on a podcast plug.
As you should. And also, low-key will guilt you into actually writing the book.
I'm writing a book. I wrote a whole chapter on Christmas Eve.
Fuck yeah.
I just need to type it up. Kelsey's been texting me. He's like, when do I get to read it? I'm like, that's a great question. I actually did just think of a new way to frame the chapter, which I like a lot more. So I'm glad I didn't type it up yet. I've also changed the character's name, and I'm very excited about it because I think this name suits the character a lot more.
Write the book faster, Darien, so we can all read it.
I'm trying. It's gay.
Good.
and charming.
Hell yeah.
So good.
It was supposed to be about me working through my grief of my big breakup, but I'm over that now. And I'm like, shit, now what's it about? I'm working on it for too long.
Just make it gay. Just have them smooch at some point.
I smooch. I just wrote the smooch. They smooch a lot.
Hell yeah. I love sending you those memes that are particular, like, I'm a good writer. Oh yeah? Write a romance scene. Huh? And then they smooched a lot.
Nah. I'm very good at. No, here's the thing. I'm very good at that, though. I'm ace as fuck, and I'm very good at writing spicy romance scenes.
I can't wait to read it.
No, actually, here's the thing. It's that there are 3 point of view characters in my narrative, and one of them is not in the romance. So, like, it is hard to, like, navigate this, and they finally got the thing where the couple, like, acknowledges, like, hey, I have romantic and physical feelings for you, and they make out, and it's super cute, and I'm, like, very happy with how that scene turned out. And then I went and fucking listened to... Hi, DJ. Oh, shit. Thanks, DJ. He appeared in my... Did you see him? Yeah, you would have seen him. And then I listened to Night Before Christmas. Very good. Highly recommend. Super fun. I was listening to the romance scenes in that, and I'm like, fuck. Is this the level people are expecting? That's not what I'm delivering on. I'm delivering over here on, like, Song of Achilles level. And out here,
yeah.
we're just like, oh, we're into it. We're open fucking door spicy scene, huh? In our grown up looks. That's not what I'm writing. And not for any reason. I love it. It's just not, doesn't work for what I'm writing.
I've posted I posted in our group chat wanting to be like, I want to talk about like why YA is uncomfortably featuring a lot of smut these days, and there's a whole lot of reasons, but like I don't know if I'm the one who should make that video because like I'm not like book savvy. But oh well.
Also,
hey,
I bet there's also like 1,000 video essays about that very topic though.
Yeah. You know what there aren't any videos about?
What
if scenarios for Steven Universe? Because when we were talking about earlier, hey, what if Pearl went to Keystone? I looked that up quickly. No one's fucking made that video or anything like that.
Hey, maybe the damn meme page could make those.
Maybe the damn meme page could. I don't know.
I follow an artist that has for many years done a they call it like their switcheroo AU, and it's switching Pearl with Spinel. What if Rose Quartz had kept Spinel and had gotten rid of Pearl? I like it a lot. I like their take on Spinel. I think she was a very interesting character, and I think it would have made a very interesting show if she was in the Crystal Gems. I like Spinel, y'all.
Spinel's pretty cool. Does this mean you want to come on for the movie?
Oh, for sure. I love the movie. Yeah, I really, really liked the movie. I found the movie to be a very satisfying bridge between the finale and future.
Hey, we are in the future and it's right.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love. Oh, who am I? Who am I? What are you even saying? I'm the loser of the game you didn't know you were playing. I love it. It's really good. Just fucking crazy ass 40s rubber hose character murdering my best friends with a scythe. Yeah, it's great.
I love that we kept talking to see if we could make this episode as long as the last one.
I mean,
I promise, this is not my fault. Okay, I did go off on a tangent of my book. I'm assuming you're gonna cut that. Why would you have that in your end of your episode? This episode is over.
We're gonna have you. I'm gonna leave in the promo.
No, keep it all the book. Why would you have me talk about this? Is why you and I edit episodes very differently. Can I?
When do I free ball?
For the answer is or is it the question? Which is the next one that Darien gets to come back for? It's the question, right?
Okay, let's see.
That's the backstory episode.
Darien wanted the answer. That is what I have you on for. And then you and Abby are gonna have to fight it out for Hit the Diamond.
Shit, Hit the Diamonds. I'll share. Yeah, the answer is.
I was gonna say
I'll share Hit the Diamond. Like
I was gonna say,
batter, swing. Oh right. With all those wonderful things, go buy Darien's book when it's out. With all those wonderful things that have been talked about, my friends, it is time to end the episode. So, hey, Charlie.
Hey, Robert.
If every podcast were perfect,
we wouldn't have the bits.
Bye. Also, if you want us to DashCon 2, you know what to do. Bye. You can follow this podcast's socials at the Bits SU Pod on Instagram and Tumblr. You can send a message to our Diamond Line through thebitsupod@gmail.com. If you'd like to support us financially, join us at our Patreon, patreon.com/thebitsu. By becoming a patron, you can join the Deus Ex Media Discord server, where you'll be able to chat with us and other listeners about Steven Universe, or whatever else. Our $5 patron tier also gets you access to Steven's Room, our monthly bonus show. There, we'll be talking about a wide variety of topics, which usually have something to do with Steven in some way. No promises.
You can check out our merch store, The Bits SU, on Redbubble to find custom designs made by yours truly. Or if you cannot or do not want to support us financially, we'd really appreciate a rating, a review, or even letting your friends and followers know how much you love the podcast. It really helps. Our music was written and produced by Jason Hilton. You can find him at Negative Selections on Instagram. You can follow me, Charlie, at GreenPixie12 on most platforms. I also have an art Instagram at GreenPixieDraws.
You can find me, Robert, at the Damn Meme Page on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Blue Sky. If you want to have more from me, check out my YouTube channel, also called The Darien Page, where I make videos mainly about Percy Jackson, but also sometimes other fun stuff. The Bits is proud to be a part of Day6 Media, which features great podcasts like Content and Capable that follow Sam as he tries to figure out what it truly means to adult.
Have you ever gotten so distracted in Stardew Valley that you forgot to sleep? Have you realised that you have a whole room in your house full of dolls? Or have you even bored your friends to sleep talking about your passion? Well then, Content Capable is the podcast for you. Join me, Sam, as I chat to people passionate about what they do, asking questions about how they fell in love with their passion, what they do, and how it interacts with their day-to-day lives. Catch the podcast every Monday as I find out what makes someone tick, all while gleaning interesting and insightful life lessons along the way. There'll be laughs, a bit of crying, a whole lot of conversations, and we learn just a little bit more about the world around us.
Yeah.
You'll see. Oh, here we go. Hi, Taco.
Taco!
Pick him up, and he said, "Whoa, what the fuck?" So we're not there yet.
We're not
So, yeah,
there
they're going.
yet.
Greg's
They
gonna
going.
go. Go.
Yeah.
Sorry, Robert. It's your show.
I mean...
Dave X Media.